Given that Richard Garriott was our first interactive interview way back in Episode 1, it seems only fitting that Origin should be the subject of our first company profile. Located in Austin, Texas, Origin has established itself as a leader in cutting-edge games, and is especially well known for its Ultima and Wing Commander series.
Hi, I'm Richard Garriott. I'm one of the co-founders of Origin. I started Origin with my brother Robert back in 1983. We started in the garage of my parents' home in Houston, and since then we've grown to right now we have about 250 people here at Origin. It's mostly product development. In fact, about 80% of the staff here at Origin is product development, which puts the product development group at just over 200 people, which we believe is the largest in-house product development organization in the world. Those projects that we have in development right now include things like BioForge, which will be released here in about 30 days. We have, we just released Wings of Glory. We have a game called Prowler. Actually, I'm going to get myself into trouble here if I speculate too far out ahead, because the publicity and public relations people will probably come down on me. In fact, my first published product was a game called Akalabeth, which came out in 1979. But really, to me, that was what you might call Ultima Zero, in the sense of it was a very simple game written in BASIC. But as soon as that came out, that one product that I created over 3 months of summer vacation right after my senior year in high school sold about 30,000 copies, to which my royalty was about $5 a piece, so maybe about $150,000 right out of high school, so not a bad business move for just a summer fun playing around in the evenings. Some of my favorite games that have not been Origin products down through the years have been things like Myst is probably my current favorite. In fact, Myst is the only game outside of Origin products that I've played to conclusion. Before that, it was games like Dungeon Master, and Monkey Island 2 was a big favorite of mine. My favorites have been Ultimas 4 and 5 were probably my two favorites. Ultima 4 largely because it was the first time when the Ultimas went from just being a technology game to really being a story game, and it paid a great deal of attention to the build-up of a fiction that really started the Britannian fiction that is carried down through the years to this day. There's a special place, I'm sure, in everybody's hearts here at Origin for Wing Commander 1, just in the sense of it was such a classic inspiration, in the sense of the formula for Wing Commander, which we've now used in all of its sequels, and also a variety of other products. We have a product called Crusader coming up soon, which is kind of what I call a Commander formula. It's not based in space, it has no 3D spaceships or anything of that kind, but the formula, which is a briefing for a mission, a combat sequence that you participate in fully interactively, followed by a debriefing, followed by a moderately interactive story advancing sequence. In the sense of our goal is to make not streaming video with branching, but rather something which is truly interactive at all times, and something which is also truly television and movie quality in its cinematics at all times. And when we describe virtual realities, what we really mean is we don't mean necessarily headsets and data gloves or bodysuits and things of that nature. What we really mean are fictional realities which are so detailed and so realistic and so well presented that regardless of the technology, they are the most complete and believable alternate realities to go live in.
Over the years, Origin has won numerous awards for their products. Here is a brief listing of a few of the recent ones. Its uniquely creative environment is key to Origin's success. Much of the fun atmosphere can be attributed to Richard Garriott himself. His Friday afternoon happy hours have prompted our reporters to visit Origin again and again.
I mean, every few months, if a new blockbuster comes out, we all go to the movies, and I mean all of us. The entire company will rent a movie theater and go and watch a new production, a new film that's out. So Well, did Richard not talk to you about New England? It's one of his favorite stories. Within a year of moving to New England, just for example, he got his car broken into, he's got his house broken into twice, got all kinds of stereo and television and other equipment stolen out of his house, and he went into his, what we refer to as the dark death days, where he wore dark black leather spikes around his wristbands, and just really had a very negative impact right off the bat with him.
And when Chris Roberts first began working on that formula, he was working on his own back in our old offices, and no one really understood what he was working on, and nobody really had any faith in where he was going, and nobody really paid much attention until finally he got the first few missions up and running and had the first art into his cinematic intros, and the guys running down the hallways and jumping in the ship. And as soon as people saw what he put together, we went, oh my, he's come up with a hit.
Just got done with System Shock, which is one of the finest games I've had the privilege of being associated with. Also done by Looking Glass. A guy named Doug Church is the project director there, and he never wants any credit, and I'm going to make that guy famous someday. He's going to kill me for saying that. Well, the producer is the guy who's ultimately responsible for everything. I remember the first day I got to the job here, almost 6 years ago now, I was told the producer was responsible for everything. And I almost turned around and walked out at that point. But realistically, it's my job to put together a team of people who can create a game. It's my job to create the budget for it, working with that team. I'm responsible for the schedule. Very often, the producer comes up with the germ of the idea, but equally often, the producer's biggest job is to sell the product development team on turning that idea into a wonderful game, a wonderful finished product. In the very near future, I've got 2 games coming out. One of them is called Cyber Mage, but that's a first-person point-of-view game. More action-oriented than System Shock and the Underworld games. Not quite as action-oriented as that other game from that other company that we won't name. But trying to find a nice middle ground between action and story. That one's got kind of a superhero kind of flavor to it, which is something else that no one's done in the point-of-view field yet. But I'm starting up another project right now, well, 2 actually, that are not yet approved for full production. But I have people working on them right now. One of them is an interactive movie project, which their working title is Fire Horse. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but it will be all live action, no rendered anything anywhere in it, and I don't believe anybody's done that successfully yet. I know people have tried it, but and it's going to be a tribute to the Hong Kong gangster films of guys like John Woo and Ringo Lam and Chow Yun-fat. If I can get Chow Yun-fat to appear in this, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. And then if we can just get a rating that will allow us to sell it anywhere in the world, I think we'll be fine. We were actually talking about doing a test shoot, and the squib cost just on the test shoot was probably greater than anybody's ever done in a game, just, the blood squibs. So mega death, mega violence, get the Senate mad at us, that kind of stuff. The other one is even a little bit further down the line than that, and the working title on that is Carnage. And that one I'm really reluctant to talk much about, but it will be point of view. It'll be point of view because that's just the future. I mean, point of view games are it, as far as I'm concerned. And it will be indoor-outdoor vehicular walking around. And lots and lots and lots of stuff to shoot. And for my money, the immersive point-of-view games are the way to go. They're much more compelling to me than any other kind of game. They take advantage of what computers can do that no other medium has ever been able to do. They can put you in an environment that you could never be in real life. I'm never going to be Bruce Willis in Die Hard. I'm not that kind of heroic guy, but I can be him. In an interactive movie, which, and here's where it gets politically incorrect, I hope is like a 2-year fad and then it goes away. In an interactive movie, you're always going to be detached from the experience. but also I can turn on a television and I can get a better cinematic experience than we are currently at least able to provide. And I think once people figure that out, they're going to go, wait a minute, I can really be there, really, or I can watch this thing that isn't quite as good as what I see on TV every day, and I don't see the point. You know, and as soon as you start doing, you know, branching video and stuff, you've limited the player's options so dramatically. Whereas in a game like System Shock, I'm there. I can do whatever I want, you know, and I can interact with the world the way the world really is, and it's just going to get more and more compelling. And so I think ultimately, I hope ultimately, that's the kind of game that really takes off. Now, I'm not so foolish as to say that's the only way, damn it. So I'm doing an interactive movie project. Like I said, Firehorse is all film footage. And the director on that project, Al Nelson, is doing a great job putting that together. But I think long term, a medium has a responsibility to do what it does that no other medium can, and that isn't make interactive movies, I think.
Back then, there was like 4 of us, really. There was Richard and Chuck Boucher, whom Richard might mentioned, who was heavily involved also in the development of products. So that we kind of all did everything. We had a couple of part-time high school kids that came in and helped with production. We had one lady that would help with answering the phones as far as taking sales orders over the phone and customer service calls and that type of thing. But for the most part, we didn't really have titles. And I think management has found that the people that are joining the company today are very similar to the type of people that were joining the company 10 years ago, that they want to have a very informal atmosphere, that they don't feel like they're being watched over their shoulder all the time, and they want that creative freedom to do what they do best, which is to create top-notch games. This and that and the other, whether it's equipment or software or that type of thing, I mean, they get approved, you know, for the most part, carte blanche anymore. I mean, it's just like, if you have it in your budget and it's justified, then you get to spend it. It's unbelievable to go back 11 or 12 years ago when Robert was the sole yes-no man on any expenditure. The amounts of things that employees get approved and they ask for it and they get it nowadays, and the relative ease with which they get it as compared to those days gone by where we would just have to beg and plead and bargain and that type of thing. So that would probably be one of the main things that sticks out. Yeah. The biggest thing that really sticks out is things that really haven't changed. I mean, it's interesting because you hear about so many people that have gone through companies that have grown, you know, that gone through the growth rates that we have. I think the thing that sticks out to me that the most is the ability for Richard and Robert and the people like myself that have been around forever to maintain that and continue to maintain that kind of family spirit that drives the company. And